half time, and so far so good. Get your views in, get your comments in. We want to know what you think to that first half. The young lad's doing really good. Gets himself assist and looking decent. Maybe it's a masterstroke coming off. Let's hope. I think the biggest thing for me is that was a good first 45 against a pretty good, well, a very good Sheffield United side. What we need now is to bang that up with a second 45. Get your views in, get your comments in. We want your halftime views. Do you still believe? We still believe. Europa League? No, forget that. We want Champions League. Come on, Leicester. We can beat Sheffield United, can't we? Get your views in, get your comments in here, and let's get as many of them on screen as possible. Ross is saying, told you, Phil, youth is good. Well done, Ross. Are you enjoying it, Ross, watching it with some Sheffield United fans? I'm sure you are. Neil's watching from Australia. Good day to you, Neil. Where are you watching in Australia? Good half, he says. Very much. Don't mention Bournemouth. We will not mention that. Steve George is saying, great first half, but worried about you. Don't change nothing, Brendan. That's the thing. Nobody change nothing. Let's keep it as is. Let's not make any halftime substitutions. Let's keep it in there. Ross says, great. Good assist from Thomas, the boy, at half time. Next 10 minutes, says Matty, is fingers crossed. I'm with you on that, Matty. Neil, absolutely. A second goal could kill Sheffield United off. Let's hope we get one. John Simpson says, keep it going, lads. Don't go defensive. No, please. Let's not. Let's not try and defend a 1-0. Please, let's not do it. Ross is watching it with 4 Sheffield United fans. He says, I went absolutely mental. Surprised I haven't been kicked out yet. Make sure, Ross, you rub it in, but always be careful in case anything happens. Chaz says, totally agree, Phil. Change nothing. Brendan, you're not watching this. Please. The fans say, leave it alone. It's going nicely. We don't want to change anything. Carlos says, sorry, Tielemans playing well. I thought Perez is playing well. They're all playing well. We all look like we're having a go. Mick Paget, what do you reckon, Mick, so far? I don't want to say I'm enjoying it too much because we haven't seemed to have strung 90 minutes together. Good afternoon, Brett. What do you reckon to it so far? Darren's got a bit of an angry face saying, get Bennett off, never a prem. Darren, we haven't got much options. If Ryan Bennett doesn't play, we've got nobody. I know we've got Darnell Johnson on the bench, but having 2 young gems. James Maguire saying Luke's a bit of a hidden gem. Struggling to speak at the moment. Keep getting those views in, keep getting those comments in. Anthony says, really good goal. Come on, Leicester Blue Army at half time. That's what we want. Joanna says she's happy at half time. Joanna, let's hope you're happy at full time as well. We've got to keep this going. One thing we've not done this restart is have a decent 95 minutes. We've had decent patches. We've had decent 45s. We've had decent injury times against Watford and that. But what we need is we need to have another 45 and we need to follow this all the way through to full time, including injury time and extra time. Will Hammond said Thomas already better than Chilwell. He's looked good, hasn't he? I mean, listen, you tell a young lad, you say, you've got a global audience. The Premier League is shown all around the world. Everybody's watching the Premier League at the moment. Go out there and give it your best. Give it your best. Impress. This is your chance. Kevin saying, looks like they've had a much needed kick up the arse. Well, let's hope so. They need it, don't they? Luke Thomas is one of our own, says Mick Paget. James is saying, so far, so good. Kevin says, a star is born. Listen, let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We need a second 45 minutes. That somebody on the Facebook group says, keep it up second half. Don't forget, if you're watching on the Facebook group, you do need to click a couple of things just to make sure I can see your name and get you on screen. No negative chat. Your boy, you, says Simon. Hey, listen. We've been putting posts out the last 2 days saying #believe. Absolutely. This is the thing we've been saying is now is the time. We've been saying all the way before for the fans. If we were there today, we'd be doing rallying cries and saying, let's believe, let's back the lads. And that's what we've been doing. Just because we're not there, we've got to make them know somehow that we are backing them. Early second half, says Michael. Where are you watching, Michael, from? Let us know. Let me know where you're watching in the world. Anybody in Leicester, lockdown Leicester, anybody in the States, in Australia. We know people are watching from all around. Let us know where you're watching, where you're enjoying it from. Sean says, Thomas looking a good prospect and chuffed for Perez. Good goal by Perez. And again, we said Perez looked pretty good against Bournemouth, apart from the disaster that was the last 20, 30 minutes. Matt says, bring on Bob Hazel, big Bob Hazel. I tell you what, we're not defending that league yet. That's one thing we've got to do. Stephen Payne is agreeing, saying it was a great finish from Perez. Kevin is a Leicester fan. He says here, living in Sheffield, come on the lads, make sure you celebrate if we win. When we win, Kevin, shall I readjust what I say? Sean is watching in Melton Mowbray. Mick Paget says he believes. Good of you, Mick, there. Simon Chopper, Harris says, proud of Luke. It's great. I believe he's from Syston as well. He's one of our own, which is great to say. Leo says, can't get too excited, though. Remember what happened last time from Scotland. Leo, don't put the kiss of death on it. Leo, I'm talking to you. You best not. No negative thoughts from anybody. Kevin is out in Greece at the moment. Enjoy it out there. Hope the sun's wet there. Jack's giving Big Wes a big love heart. Reese, shut up, mate. He's saying, knowing Rodgers, Perez will be off and Mendy on. Let's hope not. I'll tell you what, Reese. We're all here at half time. Let's make it be clear. We do not need any changes at half time unless there's injuries. We just don't. Jamie from the Fox's Arms is saying, is Wes what we needed? A bit at the back of old school. To be fair, Jamie, I think we need leaders on the pitch, and I think Wes is showing that let's have no nonsense. As Kevin is saying, more of the same second half. Andrew says, come on, Leicester. I've £30 on this with my cousin who's a blade. Oh, Andrew, don't bet on Leicester. Never, ever bet on Leicester. I saw somebody, who was it? Somebody messaged me and said they'd mistakenly put a bet on Bournemouth to win on Sunday against, and they're a Leicester fan, and it, well, the silver linings and all that. They make great pies in Syston. You know, their pucker says Jason, which is where Thomas is from, we believe. Matthew saying, missing driving coaches with Leicester fans on. Well played. Leicester, Matthew Smith is obviously one of the coach drivers. Jack says, Tillemans and Ndidi finally working as a two. Do you know, there's just more passion out there. There just looks a little bit more drive, a little bit more direct. It suddenly feels like they have had a rocket put up them, and somebody said, come on, Leicester, do you want Champions League? God knows what sort of bonuses are on. If you need that, if you need a financial incentive, I'm sure there is a massive financial incentive for Leicester to get into the Champions League for the players. So, you know, Locke's part of the content team, says we need to get videos in of Foxes celebrating in front of Blades. Yes, if you're watching it with any Sheffield United fans, do let us know, or if you know any. But let's not count our chickens too far. This is half time. There's a couple of minutes before it happens. And who are we in here? Let's Chris say, I'm trying to get Chris in here. Chris Tatum says, let's not go defensive second half. Chris, I totally agree. Let's not encourage United onto us. Absolutely do not want to bring them in there. Juco is watching. Samuel says Ndidi should join Man United as a replacement. Obviously, Samuel is a Man United fan. You can get lost. I'm kicking you out of here. Andy Smith, sorry. Ian says, no tiki-taka at the back. Casper just boot it out. One of the things when we won the Premier League, you have to remember, when we won the Premier League, Robert Huth, Wes Morgan, if in doubt, kick it out, and we need some of that. Rob's saying we're 45 minutes away from a party. I think I'm right in saying if we win, if we get 3 points, we are in Europe of sorts next year. It might be the Europa League. It might be the Champions League. If we win, I believe I'm right in saying we have qualified for Europe, which would be a massive stepping stone for Leicester City. MTS saying he won't be partying until next Sunday. The odds are still massively stacked against us. I think, MTS, I think I'm right. We win today, we do get European football next season. That is guaranteed. Kevin confirms that. 3 points, Europa at least. We'll take that for a start, and then let's kick on to the Champions League. Good grief. Good grief. Stephen Price saying, yes, that's true. Thank you for that. Solid first half, says Derek Law. Thanks, Derek. Somebody on Facebook saying, stop saying if. You're right. Let's get that back on there. I believe, I've been saying it for a few days, I believe we will beat Sheffield United. I believe we'll get a draw at Spurs. Maybe we'll win, but I think we'll get a draw at Spurs. And I do believe we'll beat Man United on the last day of the season. That is how Leicester City rock and roll. We don't make it easy. We don't make it a pleasure sometimes. I don't care how the second half goes, as long as we don't let them score. we've got European football. Imtiaz says he wants European football. Hayden says, I just want Europe. We would have taken Europe at the start of the season. Of course we would, Hayden. Let's be honest, but we want Champions League. Chris says, he who dares wins. Push on, lads. I agree. Let's take the game to them. Let's take it on. Locke says, we don't want Europa League. We want to see Real Madrid or Barcelona at the King Power next stadium next season. We certainly do. Steve is saying Spurs are beatable 2, cup final, last game for Champions League. Oh, it's about to kick off, lads. Let's get in there. Dipak's going to have the final word today. We'll probably get Aberdeen like Burnley did. Yes. Listen, we're going to get Champions League, so therefore we won't play any Scottish teams because they don't get that far in it, as all Celtic fans will tell you. Listen, let's join us at the full-time whistle. Hopefully we'll be celebrating European football. Hopefully we'll be looking on to Champions League football. Brendan, don't change anything at half-time. Brendan, don't go defensive. Brendan, just make the lads win it. Please, please, please. And let's finish with that. Do you believe? I believe. Come on. Let's go and do it. Let's go and beat them. See you at full time right here on Leicester Fan TV.